evening, and welcome to another episode of Gamehater, the show where we wonder what we are doing with all these games. We're still in ROGUETOBER, and tonight's roguelike Has Been Heroes.
Yeah, so Has Been Heroes is kind of a strategy RPG, it looks like, with some roguelike elements. So we're going to see how roguelike it actually is.
Yeah, this is one that got a little bit of hype during the. Oh no, hang on. They're talking, but I don't have subtitles, so no one will hear anything. Alright, so she's grown up on stories.
Well, that's fantastic for her.
Yeah, everyone likes stories. Yeah, so this game got some hype during Switch release window. And I use the thing to go to the place. Let's do that. Adel. Oh man, this is irritating. But it was hard to say, like, is this actually a good game, or were people just happy to have Switch games to play other than Zelda? And what kind of monster would be happy to have Switch games other than Zelda?
Yeah, it's true. I mean, when the Switch came out, like, everyone was kind of rushing to get their indie games out of there because that's like the perfect time to, get a lot of hype for your game.
Absolutely. Alright, so I have to wait for her to recharge, so there's cooldowns and everything. And I don't know why it's pausing, I guess just to show me what's going on. I hope I have to do that forever. I hope there's a
dramatic effect.
Yeah. Yeah, the interface is already a little irritating.
You can really run fast, though. I mean, eat your heart out, Sonic.
Yeah. Well, it's all those timeline shenanigans. Why do I
love how slow the enemy is just like slowly walking towards her. He's in no hurry to fight her.
Yeah, her speed is all over the place.
She looks like she's sort of the thief type, so.
Yeah, she does. Yeah, I'm already kind of annoyed at how many buttons I have to press to do basic actions. So I have to hit X to commit to doing something, B to attack, and then left bumper to go back to my starting position. Why do I have to do all that?
I don't know. Like, for a game like this, you shouldn't need any more buttons than what you find on any NES pad.
Agreed. Yeah, for what we've seen so far. Now I have to go all the way back over there to pick it up.
Yeah, you got 2 fists.
2 fists. Well, great.
You can call it the Deuce Fist.
Oh, he's blocking me. What a dick. Now I can pause.
Okay, so it looks sort of like, a kind of octopus type creature, but with a chihuahua face.
Yeah, he looks a little bit like Ren from Ren and Stimpy.
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay, what?
Wait, was Ren supposed to be a chihuahua?
He was.
Guess I never picked up on that.
You idiot. I'm sorry, I couldn't pass that up.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I'll allow it. But I am having a hard time following what's going on. Why do we have to keep resetting this battle?
I think I'm screwing it up. So I use my spell, and then I pause the game, and I press the X button, and I press the B button, and now he's stunned. And now I press the pause button, and I wait for my melee to recharge, and I press the X button and the B button, and then he finally takes damage.
Thank goodness. He deflated.
Why is it so complicated?
This should be so much easier.
Right.
Oh yeah, we got a cutscene.
Yeah, I've got to turn on subtitles.
She does not look happy at all.
No, well, someone stole her chair, so she had to dash into the woods to find a stump to sit on.
Well, she, she shouldn't be that upset, seeing as how she stole Link's tunic. So
Subtitles. Hey, there we go. Okay, so I've got two guys. Well,
man, you thought it was complicated before.
yeah. At least some of the buttons make sense. I'm choosing my guy, and then choosing his actions, which is making me feel like I've wandered into a turn-based RPG.
I think that's pretty much what it's supposed to be.
Change lane. Why is this happening? Why is this happening? So now I'm like cycling my dudes through different lanes. I've got to send him up here. What?
It's like, Final Fantasy managed to get the active time battle right back on the Super Nintendo, so why is this so hard?
Right. Alright, so this guy can attack. And I guess I swap my other dude down. I'm so lost. I guess I screwed that up. So how do I send him forward and he does some stuff.
Blocked.
I select him and I hit the X button to make him move. Then he can't do anything. X, B. This is so irritating.
This is quite the disaster.
Move him. And then he's got nothing to do. But now he can go over here. This guy can pop him over there. But he can't attack yet. Now he can attack, so I'll press 80 buttons. And I've got really nothing else to do here. This is like Plants vs. Zombies, designed by a guy who just can't chill.
I'm just over here on this side. I'm watching it, and it just feels like for everything that's going on, like it should just be so much simpler to decide what's going on.
Right. Like even the moving lanes, just the. So maybe I'm thinking about it wrong. So I'm thinking of it as heroes, but. So let me back up. To change a lane, I attack with a hero. I move him forward to create a vacancy in the lane. Then I press the button corresponding to the other lane, followed by the button for the new lane, which I just used for a different hero to make him attack. It's just all so confusing.
Well, at least the enemies are nice enough to, be stand there patiently while you figure out how to work out lanes.
Yeah, seriously. Okay, so I'll attack with him. I'll move the other guy down. Like, why can't I use my up and down buttons for this crap? That's what's infuriating me.
Yeah, I mean, do you have any other purpose for your up and down buttons right now?
They don't. They're they're cycling between character special abilities.
Well, that's kind of useless.
Yeah, it is. I mean,
see, like already, like if I was designing this game, I think I would have those two menus down there that like we see down there, but I'd be using it to, basically queue attacks up.
Right, that would make sense.
This is a game that would look really nice, just constantly moving and not constantly stopping.
Yeah,
and if you're queuing up your attacks, it would look pretty cool.
Yes. Yeah, and it would be so much easier to actually play. So I can't swap him.
No, well, obviously not.
No.
I mean, why would you swap him?
Right. I mean, I can't swap him until I've moved the other guy. So any simple mistake, just from getting confused about the interface, is hard to recover from. I love how slow these guys are moving too. That's nice.
Well, they're considerate that way.
Yeah. Like, why can't I change lanes without all the swapping crap? That's my main frustration right now. You don't have to run forward and hit a guy just to move out of your wizard's way. Assuming this is even wizard. He might be a monk.
He just to deal with a stick.
He's a stick dude. And his whole purpose in life is to clear a path for the sword dude.
When clearly it would be so much easier if you just had the sword guy by himself.
Yeah, clearly. My goodness, that was among the most frustrating interfaces I've ever encountered.
Yeah, and we've only just got started.
Mm-hmm. Just wait until we get a third hero in our party.
Speaking of which...
Yeah, there she is. Oh, okay, so they're doing the Banjo-Kazooie thing where they just kind of make sounds rather than reading their lines. How tragic. So she wandered into the woods so she could meet some old men and have an adventure with them.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds like a perfectly normal thing that you'd want to do.
Oh, those rebellious teenagers. And now I guess we're attacking her?
The young rogue was quite happy to join the band of heroes, so they set off.
I like how they're just so willing to invite this random girl that happened to be in her path.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, oh yeah, I mean, she's a complete stranger. We're not worried about her, getting murdered in our constant battles against slow-moving skeletons.
It's all good. Slow-moving skeletons who, if you walk past them, they just reset. Well, that wasn't a very...
They all have to move to the
battle.
same lane.
Yeah. After everyone got out of the way, of course. Alright, so the king's got stuff to say. Princesses need to go to school. There's three people in my party. The knight can't count. All that blunt force trauma over the years.
So it's like, oh, she's just like here watching us, but okay, sure, we'll endanger her life.
This is our groupie.
Why do we need to select anybody?
I don't know. Every other map I could just walk out of.
So it looks like they want you to assign like a button for every character, so...
I guess A's in the mix. But it's not character, it's lane.
Yeah, so you really can't even identify the character by a button like you would in, say, Mario and Luigi.
Yeah, that was a good way of controlling multiple characters, and you could do complex, time-dependent things effectively. Enemies.
Oh no, it's a scary skeleton with a sword. Good thing we got all three of us here and two
skeleton.
princesses.
Yeah.
I love how the princesses are just like sort of like bouncing up and down. See the depressed ones moving a little bit slower. Oh, everything on fire for some
that
reason.
Went horribly wrong.
And what of the heroes and their quest?
What?
Rocks fall, everybody dies.
I don't know what's going on.
They seem to have died.
Summoned by the gatekeeper, who wished to warn and help them. A great ghoul had appeared and summoned monsters into the kingdom. He had stolen the souls of living creatures.
I mean, why are they telling us all this? I mean, we're dead. Let's just go into heaven and do
Right.
heaven things. We don't need to go back.
Would take the band of
I mean, clearly these girls are not making it to school today, so...
asked them to retrieve.
And I mean, they're dead already, so, problem solved.
Right.
They received magical gifts.
Oh, yeah, we got soul orbs.
Those are my favorite. Maybe I can kill people and take their soul orbs and level up.
If there's anything I don't like more in games, it's collecting orbs.
And guess what? We made it to the tutorial.
Cool. That doesn't seem to explain anything.
No, it does not. Uh-huh. Keep on spinning, tree.
So apparently we have a branching path that I guess we have some control over, probably,
That's
maybe?
pretty good. I can't tell if she's being sarcastic about how much she loves being part of our party.
Right.
You guys are so cool. I just want to hang out with you.
And like one of them is 40, the other guy's 60, and she's
Right.
just hanging out with these extremely old people. And she's like, "Wow, this is so amazing." And you're just like, "Yeah, we're just trying to find a chiropractor."
Are you a pharmacist? Alright, so let's attack this chest. This might take a while.
Oh, we got some tools.
Hooray, it's a miner's tool.
How does that improve our health?
You got me. Maybe all that working out with a pickaxe. Alright, now here it gets real.
What do the princesses do for us? I feel like they should be helping us.
I suspect they're my health meter. Alright, so we'll just hang out for a second. I don't like this at all. Alright, so let's bring this.
It's just not as interesting as it could be because everything's moving so slow because of how complicated everything is.
Right. Yeah, as a general rule, if it's important that you have to pause the game all the time, then your interface is just too out there.
Yeah. You only need a pause like this when you know you have like a really difficult enemy and you're trying to strategize how to beat them. But this is just like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm just doing all this just to get my attacks in. That's it. True strategy.
Yeah, especially since this is kind of billed as a strategy roguelike.
I'm wondering where the roguelike element comes in.
Well, I am dying sometimes, and then my old man's dead.
You did go to heaven, so
Yeah,
well, back up on heaven again.
see what happens. I did not collect
You got 0.
any heroes. Okay, so I can control more heroes. That's kind of good.
Wow, there's a lot of room for heroes.
Yeah. How do you feel?
So this is like the default starting area then, I guess.
Must be.
Welcome to the snowy forest.
Let's go to a battle and see if I can do any better. Oh, and I do have some spells for them too. Let's see what we got. Double Strike, Curse of Frost, Hot Potato. Let's waste some spell power.
Yeah.
What happened? Okay. Just let me sit here and fumble with the interface for a while. Yeah, so I guess to some extent I do really want to be paused more often than I'm willing to admit. Because these guys do come fast.
Right.
So he's blocking, and I don't like that one bit. Start dealing with that guy. New enemy killed.
How exciting is that? So the princess is like gathering something in a ball, it looks like.
Yes. Yes, quite.
Oh, they're collecting our coins for us. Well, that's helpful.
About time they contributed.
It's just interesting the way they decided to set this game up. Like, it's kind of nice that, you know, it's just focusing solely on the turn-based battle kind of stuff. Because sometimes, you know, you're playing an RPG and it gets kind of tedious going from the world map back to the battle and back to the world map.
Yep.
Like, sometimes you're like, oh, I'm so annoyed I have to mess with this world map stuff, or I'm so annoyed I have to mess with the battle stuff.
Sure.
And you're always juggling between, like, which game do you want to play more, the actual battling or the actual exploring.
Yep.
This is just battling.
Well, don't forget, some people do it just for the watching of the cutscenes.
That too, and you know, then you got the world, you know, exploring and the battles getting in the way of the cutscenes.
Right.
This one just has battles and cutscenes that you really don't care about.
I don't care. I don't care at all. Okay, so I could buy a key. It's interesting how they are doing everything with the battle interface. I'm not saying I like it, but it is interesting.
It's very economical.
Yes.
And it means they can spend a little bit more time making the characters a little bit more interesting on this particular screen as opposed to, you know, figuring out different ways for them to show up, like, on a world map and in a battle. Are you supposed to kill him?
Yeah, I'm done with this. I don't know what's going on.
I think you should have murdered him.
Probably.
I think that's what the princesses wanted.
They're not really interested in going to school. They just want to see every man in the kingdom die.
Also, speaking of which, why do princesses need to go to school? They don't go to public school. They got tutors for that.
Yeah, why don't they have tutors? Stay tuned for the daring sequel, Has Been Tutors. The king's favorite bridge builder is now reduced to teaching the princesses algebra. So what is going on now? They're like retreating on me? Am I losing this level because they're getting away? Am I getting one last chance to save myself? I don't understand.
I mean, how are you losing if they run away?
I guess I kind of won.
Yay?
That didn't feel like a victory at all.
Oh, it's a tent. You're just sleeping in a random tent we found.
Yeah.
Leave the princesses outside. The princesses are like, guys,
They
it's
deserve
kind of cold out here.
Oh, why am I going this way? Steve, you fool.
It's so you can fight them and then go back up there and sleep in the tent again.
Yes, perfect. Sorry, it is surprisingly difficult to hold a conversation with this going on.
It's just like we're just watching it go, and I was like, "There's so little to talk about," just because it's like this slow marching army, and you're just trying to wail on them. And that's it. That's the game.
That's the game. Wail on the guys. Try not to get tripped up on the interface.
Rather just play one guy and have the other two guys on autopilot.
That would be so refreshingly honest, but also defeat the purpose of everything. Alright, well, we can play the boss.
All right, I think we're ready for it. I mean, all your characters are in good condition except for the rogue.
Okay, so we're fighting a hair metal zombie man. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, it's a shame about the rogue. She's not doing so well.
Well, I mean, she knew the risks, and if she dies in the line of duty, at least, you know, the princesses will be alive still, presumably.
We can hope. There we go.
And I mean, no one is going to be really upset because the two older guys barely know her, so it's not like it's going to weigh on their conscience that much.
They're mostly happy that the fangirl is no longer around, cramping their style.
I mean, this entire time they've been thinking about, okay, we need to figure out a way of getting rid of her before we go back to the king, and he keeps assuming that she's one of us.
Preferably without feeding her to the zombies.
Yeah. But I mean, if she happens to feed herself to the zombie, then, well, at least she died a hero.
They won't kill her, but they don't have to save her. It looks like my guys kind of heal naturally as time goes on.
Yeah, she's back to normal. Either that or they have reserve health. Like they have those little green bars next to their health bars.
Oh, I wonder. That's bad news.
In which case, they're not really healing, they're just losing their bars.
Man, this guy has so much health. And now I'm just like trying to push these guys back more than anything else. I should have brought this guy in. Why didn't I?
Oh no, she got hit hard.
Eat my
And she's dead.
princesses. Yep, she's out.
Oh, you lose one and you're done.
Yeah. Alright, that's game over. Well, let's see what these things do before we give up on the game.
Got a chest.
Alright. New one
Got
locks.
a noodly mushroom thing.
Yeah, sure did. And I don't know what it does because I haven't unlocked it for real. So just different buffs. So I guess that's where the roguelike comes in, is randomly generated stuff. And being a modern roguelike, you're unlocking new items that you can find and hopefully enjoy.
Right.
Okay.
So I guess we'll go through our
go through the list.
a little rubric here. So we were going to sort of address what the genre was, which I sort of did at the beginning. You know, it's a sort of a strategy RPG, roguelike mesh.
Yep. Yeah,
particular
very
type of RPG.
Very odd kind of genre fusion.
Yeah. And I wouldn't say this is a very good example of the type of game that I would for any RPG really.
No,
it's definitely following in the style of your turn-based RPGs, but trying to add a kind of twist to it.
Yep.
By keeping it constantly active. But like that's something again like we had that back on the Super Nintendo. It didn't look like this, but it was more or less the same.
Yep, your Chrono Trigger, and I think Final Fantasy VI did it too. Yeah, with the the cooldown timer on character turns.
Yeah.
And that's what it was. It was a cooldown timer on turns more than abilities. Though the abilities also had cooldown timers. And maybe I wasn't using them effectively.
But even then, like the interface was just working so hard against you. It was just.
It really was.
It was really opposed to you playing the game.
It was. Yeah. The level of number of buttons it took to do simple actions, the abstraction of controlling lanes instead of characters and then shuffling characters around lanes was difficult to wrap my head around. Because it's so against how RPGs usually work.
I almost wonder if this is a game that was maybe meant more for a cell phone type of game. And
maybe.
Or you're controlling it more by touch, maybe. I'm not sure how that would work, but just because of the way that interface is so counterintuitive.
I could see that working. If you could just drag and drop characters or swipe them right to attack, that would be kind of intuitive.
Yeah.
That would fit a lot better with this gameplay style. And when one says, "Oh, this game would work better on a phone," that's not a ringing endorsement.
Yeah. Not at all.
And there are other oddities, like sometimes when enemies would touch me, I would take damage, or characters would die, or they would just friggin' retreat. So yeah, as a turn-based RPG, very confusing interface. That really is the major issue. As a strategy game, like I alluded to earlier, it's very reminiscent of Plants vs. Zombies, in that you've got the whole lane structure, and enemies just kind of slowly and menacingly walking towards you while you basically juggle your guys around trying to make defenses and stop them. The difference is Plants vs. Zombies is a defensive game, whereas this is more based on offense. But
Yeah, I think what it was trying to do, like, it looked like that would be a very interesting way of doing an RPG. Like, I was kind of into that. It's almost like, a mixture of like an RPG and a beat 'em up.
mm-hmm.
But again, the interface just completely, screwed that over.
Yeah. So.
And normally with an RPG, like, you want to be able to spend more time to understand the game. But I think with this one, even though I only played maybe a half hour of it,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think gameplay wise, like, maybe you would have got better at controlling it, but you shouldn't need that long to grasp the basics of how to control the game.
Right, absolutely not.
After the first 30 minutes, what you should be learning is like more techniques to make you more effective, not still trying to struggle how to actually just play the game.
Yes, absolutely. With a strategy game, the satisfaction is getting out of tight spots by doing something rather ingenious, or at least feeling like you did something ingenious, or laying out a long-term strategy that ends up being really effective.
Right.
This game, it's all about reacting moment to moment and just trying to make a series of quick optimal decisions.
Basically Tetris.
Yeah, basically Tetris. Yeah, well said. But when I talk about strategy games, for me, Fire Emblem is the king of the genre, so I can't help but talk about it. And it's like if a Fire Emblem game was just a big open field with a bunch of respawning enemies coming at your guys, and you strip out the XP system. There's just no satisfaction there.
Yeah, I mean, you do have the roguelike elements here where it doesn't look like there's a lot to unlock here. Like, they have this whole page of heroes, which it's kind of surprising. Like, they have the 3 main heroes here on the the title screen, so it's like it surprises me that there would even be
are they
other characters
swaps? Are they completely different? I'm gonna look that up real quick.
Yeah, I'm gonna look at some screenshots, see what they show some different characters in there.
Yeah. Let's see. Black Knight, Medicles. Yeah, they look pretty varied. There's a luchador. And, all fitting the theme of being older or middle-aged. So, unlocking character, that's a good thing. I think the roguelike elements are there to add some variety to the game. Because, I mean, already just playing it for half an hour or whatever, things were getting a little bit stale. I imagine more item unlocks, more interesting spells, different characters would add some replay value.
Yeah, that's what you need, like, in a game like this. You need to liven it up just to have that variety. But even so, like, if the gameplay itself doesn't, entice you to want to play it, then all the unlocks in the world isn't going to make me want to come back to play this game.
No, certainly not. Okay, well, what else? Conveyance, that's... We've done nothing but bitch about that. It wasn't even that the game wasn't telling us what we wanted to do. It's just that...
What else trying to tell us to do made no sense.
Right. I mean, they tried to explain it, and I think they explained it the best they could. It's just everything was so counterintuitive and fiddly that I didn't feel like I was learning. Although I will say, I feel like this is the kind of game where if you get over the hump, then you just end up in the zen-like state where you're juggling characters and slamming dudes down.
Yeah, and I can see that. I almost think that I wonder if the game would be like better for somebody who hasn't played, various RPGs. It has no
Maybe
like
so.
preconceptions on how they're supposed to be played.
Right, right. So again, this would be better as a phone game because that's the audience.
Right, basically.
And ultimately the big question is this fun? Do I see myself playing this? And no, I don't.
I would not want to touch this game.
Yeah, you had it worse, I think. Just watching and not even having the internal dialogue about what to do. But let me tell you, the decisions were not interesting. It's not like, oh, do I put my rogue here to fill the wizard's lane, or do I put the knight there? It's, well,
Yeah.
who's closer to attacking, and who has enemies closer to them in their own lane. So it's all about getting the damage at the nearest enemy to you. That seems to be the whole game.
Yeah. And it's not like,
So-
an RPG is necessarily boring to watch. I mean, they're not the most interesting games to watch, but they can be, interesting to observe, which, I mean, isn't really the point of Gamehiker to say, hey, is this an entertaining game to watch? But
Right.
basically the point just being that it's just, it looks like it's dynamic, but it doesn't feel that way.
Right. Yeah, I agree. This is, as far as Gamehater games go, probably one of the worst ones to get a feel for by watching. But at the same time, you're an experienced gamer. You played a lot of stuff. You can judge just from watching gameplay whether you think it would be fun for you.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I was watching it, muted and didn't have to listen to you, explain how it was played. I might look at this game as a demo and go, oh, this looks pretty interesting,
Yeah,
without
maybe.
realizing the complicated gameplay behind it that undermines, the fact that it could look like a pretty interesting game.
We should we should absolutely edit Gamehater episodes into mock trailers of video games. It's just like you take the normal scenes and the narration, instead of like being an exciting Twitch-based rogue-like strategy game, it's just me being like, the fuck? How do I? So I press the B button and then the X button. 12 skeletons. Yes.
As like a sweeping story that goes through many different worlds, and you're just like, oh my god, are we still talking about the plot still? I don't even know what's going on.
Okay, yeah, so the girl's on the log and she wants to hang out with an old guy.
Can I just play the game again?
Yes. That would be more fun than playing this game.
Yeah. So, the cover two of the other things we usually talk about is the link to the game and the price of the game. The link to this game is apparently, and this is just judging by just one person who put this in on How Long to Beat, which I'm assuming that means only one person ever played this game.
Right.
To completion. They said it took them 35 hours.
Wow.
Which I don't know why you want to spend that much time with this game.
No.
But it goes for $19.99 on Steam, which I wouldn't pay that for this game.
I would not.
Which fortunately we didn't.
I agree. That is fortunate. Yeah, I mean, to be as fair as possible with the game. As I mentioned earlier, it's the Tetris of strategy games, and I think there are people who that would appeal to. I'm not one of them. You're not one of them, and they're probably not a large group. But
yeah,
it's not like this is one of those why the hell did anyone make this game kind of deals. I think there's an audience for it, but you've got to be real careful not to buy it by accident if you're not that person.
Yeah, that's pretty much how I feel about it.
Yeah, very niche. I think that's all I've got to say. You got any more parting shots?
No, I think we're at the point where we can give our final ratings for it.
Well, this is a pretty unambiguous thumbs down for me.
Yeah, and having had to watch it, I'm actually going to give it a pretty unambiguous middle finger up.
Very good. It's well deserved. Oh, and I should mention this at the beginning. There's a disclaimer on this episode. I actually watched trailers and read reviews for this game because I thought it might be something I was interested back when the Switch first came out. And they talked me out of it. I didn't realize it would be this bad. The complaints I saw were things like it got really repetitive, not very many enemy varieties, and enemy varieties didn't mean much, that kind of stuff. But I don't remember comments about how infuriating it was to take basic actions.
Yeah. Well, thank goodness that you didn't spend money to buy it on the Switch and have it stuck showing on your Switch that you own it.
Like Bomberman. Alright, well, that was Gamehater reviewing Has Been Heroes. We hate this game, and we're going to bed. Good night.
Good night.